I'd been home maybe 20 minutes, still in my work boots, sitting at the kitchen counter trying to remember if we needed anything from the store before I forgot again. The tablet was sitting there charging, the one we kept in the kitchen for recipes and grocery lists and whatever else. I picked it up to check the weather for tomorrow's job. I had a service call out in Fairview that I didn't want to do in the rain. A message popped up on the screen. Not an app icon, an actual preview banner sitting right there over the weather. Brett can't stop thinking about this afternoon. I looked at the name for a second like it might rearrange itself into something that made sense. Brett, the guy 2 streets over, divorced, kept his lawn nicer than anybody needed to, waved at me sometimes when I was pulling into the driveway. I'd talked to him maybe 6 times in 3 years, mostly about a fence line and one time about a dead tree. I did not know Brett well enough for a message like that to be about anything I understood. I told myself it was probably nothing, a group text, a joke that didn't land right in a preview. I've rewired enough houses to know that things look worse out of context all the time. The messaging app was already open behind the lock screen. Carolyn's account, logged in, same as it had been for years because we never really thought about privacy in our own house. I wasn't trying to be sneaky. I just tapped it open the way you'd flip to the next page. It wasn't a group text. The conversation went back months. I didn't do the math right away, I just started scrolling and it kept going and going past what should have been the bottom. Early stuff was easy to explain away if you wanted to. Compliments. A little back and forth that could have passed as harmless if you squinted. Then it stopped being anything you could squint at. Times, addresses that were just my place because they both already knew what that meant. Tuesday afternoons, Thursday mornings. A message from Brett that just said doors unlocked, come on, and like it was routine, like it was a standing appointment. I started recognizing the dates. Not all of them, I'm not a guy who keeps a mental calendar, but enough. A Tuesday I remembered because I'd been out at a commercial site until 6, wiring panels in a strip mall that was going in off Route 9. Carolyn told me that day she'd had a dentist appointment and then ran some errands. There was a message from that same afternoon, timestamped 2:15, her telling Brett she could stay until 4. I kept scrolling because some part of me needed it to stop being true, and it just kept not stopping. Then I found the one that did something to my chest I don't have good words for. She told him I worked too much, that I was boring, that most nights I came home too tired to be anything but tired. Brett's response wasn't sympathy. It was something closer to pride. He said she'd been easy, that was the word he used, easy, like getting a married woman into his bed 2 streets from her own husband was some kind of achievement he wanted credit for. I sat there and read it twice. I want to tell you I felt something big in that moment, some gut drop, some room-spinning thing you'd expect. Mostly what I felt was quiet, real quiet, like somebody had turned the volume down on the whole house. I could hear the fridge running. I could hear my own boots on the tile when I shifted my weight. I didn't confront her. I want to be clear about that because I thought about it. I thought about walking into whatever room she was in and just holding the tablet up and asking her to explain easy. But some older, calmer part of my brain said no, not yet, and for once I listened to it. Instead, I started taking screenshots, one after another, working backward through the conversation, catching timestamps, catching names, catching the specific words. I sent them to myself in a different app, one she wouldn't think to check. My hands were steady doing it, which surprised me a little. I guess 13 years of running wire teaches you how to work carefully even when your head's somewhere else. When I had what I needed for the moment, I locked the screen and set the tablet back exactly where it had been, angled the same way, cord plugged in the same side. I heard her keys in the door about 10 minutes later. She came in with a grocery bag on one arm, said hey, asked how my day went. Fine, I said. Long one, panel workout on Route 9. She said that sounded exhausting and started putting things away in the fridge like it was any other Tuesday. I sat there and watched her do it and thought about the word easy. I didn't say anything else. I already knew whatever came next. It wasn't going to start with me yelling in my own kitchen. The next morning I didn't say a word about it, and that turned out to be harder than I expected. Not because I was tempted to blow up, I wasn't, not yet, but because every normal thing she did now had this second layer to it. She poured her coffee the same way she always did. She complained about traffic on her way to work the same way she always did. I sat across from her thinking about a message that said doors unlocked, and she had no idea I was thinking anything at all.